Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Classic Reviews. In today's episode, we will be reviewing another covers album. So, like I said in my Origins Volume 2 review, cover and tribute albums all depend on the songs being covered and the artist doing them. With this cover CD, I brought it purely because I know nearly all the songs being covered, and I will admit I'd never heard of this band until I heard one of the songs that's on this CD. So, the covers album is called don't know how well you can see that. It's called Tribute to the Gods, and it's by American heavy metal or power metal band Iced Earth. And they've been about since the 90s, I think. And their one constant member, I'll try. And the one constant member is rhythm guitarist John Schaefer. And there have been various people in the band over the years, including former Judas Priest singer Tim Ripper Owens. This covers album was released in November 2001 as part of a box set and then got re-released as a standalone CD in July 2002. The band lineup on this CD features John Schaefer on rhythm guitar, Matt Barlow on lead vocals, Larry Tarnowski on lead guitar, and James McDonough on bass, and Richard Christie on drums. Sound mixer and engineer Jim Morris also contributes to the album by performing backing vocals and even contributes a couple of guitar solos on a couple tracks too. Before we do the track by track, it'd be rude not to talk about the CD covers. The gist of it is, everything on here is so cool. Iced Earth is a great band name. Album title, Tribute to the Gods, is a great album title that sums up the album very well. And bear with, take the disc out, be easier. The disc has quite a cool image on the disc as well. I know I'm hiding part of it, but you get the idea. And the inside covers are great as well. Try and do it the best I can. The inside covers are great as well, with all the different concert tickets for multiple legendary bands, etc. The See if I can take this out. Let's see if this will come out. Come out quite easily. So there's the front cover. Great front cover. The front cover booklet features an in-depth interview with John Schaefer, where he talks in great detail about his influences and the songs and the and the songs that have been picked to be covered. So the first song being covered is the heavier Kiss song "Creatures of the Night." This is not a bad choice for an album opener, and this is the cover that first introduced me to this album. This is definitely one of the best Kiss covers out there, and Matt Barlow does a great job emulating Paul Stanley's vocals, which very few people can do, as Paul Stanley always tends to belt out these high C type notes, which is not easy. The second song being covered is the Iron Maiden classic Number of the Beast. This song, being a proper heavy metal classic, suits Iced Earth very well. And once again, Matt Barlow does a great vocal, considering that I think Bruce Dickinson used a lot of mixed voice, which is a very hard way of singing. But Matt Barlow pulls it off well, and he does do the iconic scream in his own style. Last thing I'll say about this cover is that the narration you hear on the original Iron Maiden recording isn't featured on the Iced Earth cover. The third song being covered is the rock classic Highway to Hell, originally by AC/DC. I must admit, with this CD being recorded in 2001, the production of this cover is better than the original, and Matt Barlow does a great job emulating Bon Scott, and it's also great to hear a song like this made heavier. The fourth song being covered is probably my favourite Blue Oyster Cult song, which is called Burning for You. Having a heavy metal band like Iced Earth covering a Blue Oyster Cult song really goes to show how much of an influential band Blue Oyster Cult were, and it shows that the band Iced Earth have a diverse range of influences. The cover itself is an enjoyable listen, and it doesn't feature any keyboards, whereas the original version did. The fifth song being covered is God of Thunder by Kiss. This is the second Kiss cover on this album, and it's Iced Earth's main man himself, John Schaefer, performing lead vocal duties on this cover. And this is one of the songs where Jim Morris plays the guitar solo. While this cover doesn't feature any children's voices, it's always great to hear this Kiss song made heavier. And John Schaefer does a great job channeling his inner demon, which makes this Kiss cover the heavy song that it so needed to be. The sixth song being covered is Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. Like with the Iron Maiden songs on this CD, Matt Barlow is no Rob Halford, but you do really have to give him credit for taking the song head on and doing those screams in his own style. Both Matt Barlow and the rest of the band do a great job with this cover, and I just thought I'd mention that some of the Judas Priest stuff is actually easier to sing than some of the Iron Maiden stuff, as Rob Halford uses a lot more head voice, whereas Bruce Dickinson uses more mixed voice. The seventh song being covered is the Alice Cooper song Dead Babies. You could say this is quite a surprising song choice considering how different this song is compared to the rest of the songs being covered on this CD. Despite not sounding metal, having a band like Iced Earth covering Alice Cooper just goes to show how much of an influence Alice Cooper was on a range of bands and artists. Excuse me. This cover does feature some tight and delicate playing from the band, and Matt Barlow doesn't do a bad job of capturing the creepy atmosphere of this song with his singing. This is also the other song on this album to have Jim Morris play the guitar solo. The eighth song being covered is the early Blue Oyster Cult song Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. The big thing that stuck out for me on the original version was how low and basic the production sounds. So it is great to hear a version of this song with a better and more updated production, let alone the heavier sound by the Iced Earth band members and the delicate vocal performance by Matt Barlow. The ninth song being covered is the earlier AC/DC classic It's a Long Way to the Top. Like with the previous AC/DC cover, it's great to hear an AC/DC classic made heavier, and the bagpipes are replaced by guitars. This is definitely a fun song to listen to and is one of my favourite songs on this CD. The second to last song being covered on this CD is the Black Sabbath song Black Sabbath. Now, I've got to be honest, this probably wasn't the best choice of Black Sabbath song for a band like Iced Earth to cover, as it's a slow and creepy song, and Iced Earth aren't that type of band that would usually play slow and creepy stuff. This Black Sabbath cover is a lot more produced than the original, and the faster part of the song suits the band a lot more with their double bass drums and amped up guitars. And while Matt Barlow doesn't really capture the creepiness of Ozzy Osbourne, he certainly adds his own powerful spin on this. Maybe another Ozzy era or even a Dio era Black Sabbath song would have been a better choice. The last song being covered on this CD is another Iron Maiden classic, and it's the song Hallowed Be Thy Name. Like with the other Iron Maiden cover on here, Matt Barlow does a great vocal performance and does a great job emulating Bruce Dickinson. And like the original song, it does have the bell sounds, and it is also the longest song of this CD, being over 7 minutes long. So that's the track by track done. And my overall thoughts are that while none of these covers are better than the originals, all the songs have been delivered with absolute note for note care, and and it's more John Schaefer's influences rather than the whole band's. But the star of this album has to be lead singer Matt Barlow. He shows on here that he's such a versatile singer, and he takes all these songs head on and doesn't shy away from anything. My favourite song on here has to be the opening track, which also made me discover this CD, and that's the Kiss cover of Creatures of the Night. I do think they could have maybe done a song by Metallica and a song from Ronnie James Dio's catalogue, maybe even a Deep Purple or a Led Zeppelin cover. So that's it for this latest CD review. I must have put a couple of songs from this CD in my Great Covers playlist on my channel, so please check that and my other playlists out. Please like and subscribe, leave a nice little comment below, and hit the bell for notifications, and check out my other CD reviews too. Cheers.